Welcome to the CondoVulturesTV podcast with your host, Peter Zalewski, a Miami real estate broker, Wall Street consultant, and expert witness. This podcast is focused on identifying real estate buying opportunities in the South Florida condo market of Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. The CondoVulturesTV podcast is not authorized by the South Florida real estate industry and will most likely annoy many of the region's talking heads. This podcast will feature straight talk and salty language that could be offensive to some. Please remember that past investment success does not determine future gains, especially in South Florida's volatile condo market. For more information, please visit CondoVultures.com. Don't buy a South Florida condo, discounted or distressed, before taking a Condo Vultures correction tour. CondoVultures.com offers weekly bus and walking tours that focus on educating buyers on the how-tos of identifying discounted condos, analyzing the opportunities, and purchasing units. Every tour attendee receives a list of all condo projects in a particular market, a market assessment handout, and unmatched expert analysis. For more information on the condo correction tours, please visit CondoVultures.eventbrite.com.
This is Peter Zalewski of the Condo Vultures podcast. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. And I wanted to alert you that if you have a property that you're looking to sell in the Tri-County, South Florida area, I would encourage you to reach out to Jenny Cortez, a licensed real estate broker with CVRRealty.com. She's my partner. She's been in the business for north of 15 years. More importantly, she knows the market. She knows how to get a deal done. And she also realizes that it's more important to get a price that you can accept and sell the property rather than to hold firm on some price that's never going to be achieved and ultimately languish on the market. So if you're looking to do a deal that you want a skilled expert who can help you sell a property, reach out to Jenny Cortez at 305-865-5859, 305-865-5859, or visit her website, CVRRealty.com.
Welcome to Miami Reporters Roundtable podcast. I'm your host, Peter Zalewski from Condo Vultures. If you're tuning in this podcast, you're going to hear a conversation by current and former journalists talking about some of the biggest stories that have occurred within the last week or so. This is an unauthorized podcast. Therefore, we're going to give you straight talk as to what's up. The format of the show is based on me picking 6 articles. I go ahead, I send them off to the journalist. I got 3 other journalists on the panel with me, 2 articles per journalist. I'll ask them to go ahead and cut through and give you, the audience, straight talk. Who is our audience? Well, we're a podcast dedicated to developers, for lenders, for investors, for buyers, for sellers, and even gadflies. Some of you out there who might want to go to a cocktail party, have something interesting and intriguing to say, who knows, maybe somebody on our podcast will be able to share information with you that you can go ahead and release into the world. A couple tidbits before I go ahead and introduce the members of our podcast this week. One, if you want to make any comments, you want to criticize, you want to compliment, or you want to follow, you can get us on X, which is formerly Twitter. Get us at Miami RRP, which stands for Miami Reporters Roundtable Podcast. It is not AARP, even though some members of the podcast are a little long in the tooth, but it's Miami RRP. So keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind too is we are now selling merchandise. So if you want to support our cause, we're not making a lot of money on it. We're just trying to build a community. We have a variety of things that are for sale. We have coffee mugs. We have welcome mats. We have flip-flops. We even have a shower curtain where we feature Mr. Fakler's face on it. Real big shower curtain. First thing in the morning, you come up, you need to wake up, you turn on that light, you take a look at the shower curtain, and I guarantee it will give you more adrenaline than a cup of coffee. So if you want to check out any of the merch, go to CondoVultures.com, look for the merch button, click on that, and it'll show you all of the merchandise we have available. So all that being said,
is there mildew on that shower curtain?
That is a very good question, Mr. Ostrowski. We will ask Mr. Fakler when we get to him. Let me go ahead and introduce the members of our podcast this particular week. We have a gentleman who's a journalist for over 25 years. Right now, he's a public relations marketing firm called Gruss Communications. It's no one else but John Gruss. If you want to check out his website, go to GrussPR.com, GRUSSPR.com. And you should follow him on X, which is formerly Twitter. You follow him at JEANGRUSS, John Gruss. What's going on, Mr. Gruss? How are you?
Hey, Peter, how's it going? I'm glad to be on the No Fluff podcast.
No Fluff podcast. Who else do we have on the podcast? We have a gentleman who's a journalist for over 20 years that wrote about white collar crime. He did business stories. He also did restaurant reviews. Right now, he has a public relations marketing firm. If you need any assistance with him, I encourage you to reach out to him. It's no one else but John Fakler. Make sure to follow John on Twitter, which is formerly, I guess it's X. It was formerly Twitter. You can get him at JT Fakler, JTFAKLER. What's going on, Mr. Fakler? When's the last time you did a restaurant review?
Well, Peter, I'm glad to be back, and I appreciate the plug for the restaurant reviews, but that was like 30 years ago. I haven't done any for a while, but I appreciate the plug.
Not a problem. Mr. Fakler, just an update for our regular listeners. About 2 weeks ago or so, you took your car and you had some car problems. You're going from Little Havana down to Kendall. On the way down, your car broke down. Ultimately, you got it to the shop. What's the latest on the car? Has it been fixed? And why don't you share your experience with us?
All right. It hasn't been fixed. It was a $50 part, but for some reason, the place I took it to is so busy, thanks to their great social media marketing. All these people are coming in saying, "Oh, I heard you're wonderful." Meet them. They've had my car for 10 days, and it's for a very simple fix. So it still hasn't been fixed, and I'm waiting for a call. Thank you for that.
Mr. Fakler, do you attribute to the delay, the 2 weeks in terms of trying to fix your car, do you attribute that to supply chain, or is it maybe a personality issue? You do have a reputation for voicing your opinion.
Yeah, that's the problem. I was trying to be nice for that very reason. I had an incident with them previously a few years ago. I felt I was being overcharged, and I don't know if they remember me after all these years. It's possible. Who knows?
All right. Anyone who's a regular follower of the podcast, we'll be sure to give you an update next week. We'll see if we go past 3 weeks.
I'm sure you will. Thank you.
That $50 piece installed and to fix his car. So who else do we have on the podcast this week? We have a gentleman who's been a journalist for over 30 years. He writes about finance. He's written about real estate. He written about bio. No one else but Jeff Ostrowski. Jeff currently works over at bankrate.com. He also has his work published in a variety of different publications. So if you want to follow Jeff, you should get him on X, which is formerly Twitter. Get him at bio561, BIO561. What's going on, Mr. Ostrowski?
Well, yeah, I'm just reminiscing now as you were talking about my long resume. Fakler and I sat next to each other in a newsroom years ago.
True.
And Mr. Ostrowski, did you ever have the pleasure of Mr. Fakler expressing himself? Were you ever around that? Maybe one of those incidents, maybe like his mechanic who's taking close to 3 weeks to get his car fixed. You ever gone through that?
No, I have heard him express himself, not about the mechanic, but about other people.
Yeah.
And it was always entertaining for the rest of us.
Yeah, I remember one incident. I called somebody a source, one of our sources, a mook, and Jeff burst out laughing. He couldn't believe I was saying that. It's one of those memories I have from our days back at the BJ.
Which is the South Florida Business Journal. Mr. Fakler, just for the audience, what does that term mook mean? Why don't you give us a definition?
Well, an idiot, some fool. So, I mean, it's kind of a New York phrase. He's a mook.
Got it. All right. Well, Jeff, welcome back to the podcast. Glad to have you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get into our stories. Before we do, let me just sort of give a plug to our sponsors. We're not breaking up the podcast. This is season 4. We don't break it up anymore. We're just going to run it straight through. Therefore, we got one sponsor. Who is it? Well, it's my brokerage company, a company called Condo Vultures Realty, CondoVulturesRealty.com. Does buy-side brokerage, does consulting, also does expert witness. Anybody out there looking to sue, you need somebody on your side. If your numbers add up, reach out to us. Maybe somebody with my company can help you. Again, CondoVulturesRealty.com. That being said, let's go ahead and get into our stories. We're going to start off with story number 1. We're going to go to Jean Gruss with this story. Jean, this is a story coming out of The Real Deal. I'll read you the headline, first couple graphs, and I want you to comment. Headline: Highline launches $350 million distressed commercial real estate fund. Subhead: Fund will target capital-hungry owners of office, retail, multifamily, and industrial properties in the Southeast. Now, let me read you the first couple graphs. Jean, then I want you to comment. Miami-based Highline Real Estate Capital launched a $350 million investment fund that will target owners of distressed commercial real estate in the Southeast. Through its new Highline Real Estate Fund number 1 LP, the firm will provide equity and debt financing to commercial property owners struggling to sell or finance office, retail, multifamily, and industrial properties, as well as acquire properties. Story goes on to say, and this is a quote that comes from David Moret, the principal of Highline. He told The Real Deal, "We have extensive direct operating histories in the office and retail, and so those types of investments we would buy directly as well as with other partners." And story finally, just to wrap it up, Mr. Jean, and then I'll ask you to comment. Mr. Morrell says he expects Highline to make industrial and multifamily property investments with partners. He added, multiple interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve since March of 2022 have flattened the value of commercial real estate property sales in recent months. Higher borrowing costs have lowered bids to buy commercial property, which many property owners have resisted. John, is this the start of effectively the buildup for distress, and what will it mean for real estate prices if this fund, as well as others that are currently being thought of, go forward?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a canary in a coal mine. I mean, sophisticated, smart investors who've been in the business a long time know what's coming when interest rates rise, and when they're actually putting their money where their mouth is, it's very telling. I mean, I think I would certainly believe those guys more than sort of the economists that are out there that really don't have any money on the line. I mean, these guys are going to put $350 million bet on the fact that there's going to be distressed properties. And, we've seen this cycle before. It's the cycle of rising interest rates, and that's going to depress commercial real estate values. And owners of commercial real estate who bought at the peak and need a refinance are going to be they're going to be in distress. So there will be a lot of opportunities. And I think a lot of people are raising capital to be prepared for that moment. I mean, when that's going to happen, I mean, I think it's already happening now, but in the next couple of years, I think it's just going to be, it's going to happen. So this is really sort of a canary in a coal mine. It's something to pay attention to. The couple things that really struck out to me, it's not just office properties, but they're also talking about multifamily and industrial, which have been like two super hot areas. And, I was a little surprised because industrial particularly was sort of the darling of commercial real estate. And, now you've had some commercial real estate industrial users that have cut back, Amazon being one of them. And so I was really interested to read about that, and also multifamily, because I think, we've seen quite a bit of multifamily construction recently. And I'm not sure that developers of multifamily are going to be able to fill all the apartments that they think they can, and the massive supply that's coming. So it was really interesting to read that it's not just in the office sector, because I think a lot of people have said the problems have been mostly limited to the office market because of work from home and COVID and all that. But I think it's more widespread than that, and these investors seem to think so too. So that was very insightful, an insightful part of the story.
Now, I want to read one more graph out of the story and open this up to the floor if anybody wants to discuss it. An article or a graph in the story says, another real estate investment fund similar to Highline launched in South Florida this year. Arnold Carsanti's Miami-based 13th Floor Investment, which built a lot of residential. They build condos. They also build rentals. They launched a $300 million fund aimed at opportunities in the growing market nationwide, as well as distress in South Florida and elsewhere. Highline, the company that we're talking about here, they kind of do everything. But we're talking about a residential developer who's been very active in South Florida, actually put together a $300 million fund to go after a distressed product as well. Anybody want to comment about that? Anybody want to talk just about what they see going on? Is, three makes a trend. This is only two. What says the roundtable?
Yeah, interesting piece. So there was a related report that came out last week. MSCI Real Asset estimated there's about 80 billion in distressed commercial real estate nationally right now. That office was the largest percentage of that, followed by hotel, and then multifamily and industrial were farther down the list for those reasons that John just described. We've been hearing a lot about office distress in other parts of the country, not in South Florida, but in Chicago, LA, Atlanta, DC. And very much focused on office just because of work from home. So a couple of things I wondered about after reading that, I just don't get the sense that there's a whole lot of distressed real estate in South Florida right now. We're still in boom mode, even the office sector. I just wrote about the latest office numbers. We're at record high rental rates in the South Florida office markets. Vacancy rates aren't that high. So I'm guessing these funds aren't really targeting a whole lot of distressed office in South Florida. And I don't get the sense that there's a lot of distressed multifamily here either. So I'm just, I mean, yes, I think there is distressed property out there, but I don't know if there's a whole lot of it in South Florida. I
Interesting.
wonder though if this is sort of a preview, a forecast, because I mean, do they want to have some dry powder for next year? And how quickly are they going to deploy that capital? I don't think the story said that. So maybe they're seeing something, coming down the pike 12 to 24 months, and they want to be ready and have the cash on hand to sort of strike when the opportunities arise.
And John, just to add a point to what you just said, if you look at the name of this fund, and I said it, you're reading the article, this is number one. You got to wonder too, if it's not the first round in order to plant the flag, establish your reputation, claim the space, and then therefore later on, anybody who might be interested in terms of money guys, investors, men and women, they could ultimately follow suit with that. So that's an interesting point. Story number two, we're going to go to Jeff Ostrowski. Jeff, you wrote this story, it appeared in bankrate.com. I'm going to read the headline, first couple graphs, and I want you to go ahead and provide some comment for us. And here we go with the headline. Reporting rent payments boosts credit for would-be home buyers. And first couple graphs, Jeff, there's actually 3 key points. They're called what to know. Bankrate does that. Point number one, renters in a free rent payment reporting program overseen by mortgage giant Fannie Mae saw an average 40-point jump in their credit scores. Point number two, rental payments aren't typically reported to the credit bureau. Some companies offer this service for a fee. And point number three, your credit score is a crucial factor in qualifying for a mortgage, with your payment history accounting for about a third of that figure. Jeff, why don't you give us an overview about what you found in terms of reporting your story? If you want to provide some comments, that's great, but we're pretty much looking for insight. Is this an attempt to try to convert a renter into ultimately a homeowner by bolstering their credit score by simply being people paying their rent on time? And what do you see sort of as the future for this?
Yeah, exactly. So this has been sort of a well-known issue in the credit scoring system for a while, that, if I miss a $50 medical bill, that's going to ding my credit, but I can make my $2,000 monthly rent payment on time every month, and I don't get credit for that. And so and just because it's so hard for first-time homebuyers right now with this combination of high mortgage rates, high home prices, and the idea has been, try to make more Americans creditworthy, move more people into homeownership. So Fannie Mae started this program about a year ago, and they gave me their 1 year results, which is about 300,000 renters have had payments reported through this program. Some small percentage of those, I'm looking at my notes here. It was something like 20,000 didn't have credit scores at all, and established credit history through this program. But as you mentioned, there was a 40-point jump in credit score for the people whose rent payments were reported. And if you're not a tenant of one of these property owners, you can go out and hire a third party for a fee that will report your credit scores for you. But yeah, it's kind of a way for somebody to establish a credit score or boost their credit score without going up and taking out a credit card or a car loan. So yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. This doesn't seem like, the Fannie of 20 years ago, where they're just trying to almost recklessly encourage homeownership. This seems like a way to just, sort of help struggling renters who want to make that jump, to help them get over that hurdle.
Interesting. Mr. Fakler, you were a homeowner for a long time. You're currently a renter. What do you make of the fact that Fannie Mae is trying to empower those people who are renting to ultimately become homeowners? Do you have any take on that?
Yeah, I do actually. Very interesting story. And what's killing me is that because I have a cottage, I don't have a lease. I doubt that my rental payments are being reported to any credit bureau. Because of that, and I've been doing this for several years now, I'm wondering why my credit score is not going up. Here's an example. I mean, I could certainly use 40 points right now. I mean, my luck.
Well, Jeff, didn't you say that for a fee you could pay a third party and they ultimately would take care of it to work to boost your credit score?
Yeah. There are a couple of programs, rent reporters, and I'm blanking on the names, but I'll connect with you offline, Fakler, and give you the names.
Okay.
It's a little expensive. It's a one-time fee of like $50 to $100 plus a monthly fee. There is an app now, and maybe a few apps that will let you report they'll report your payments to the credit bureaus for you.
for no fee. So this is becoming more widely available. So maybe we could have a little first person report from Fakler.
Very
After he
interesting.
gets past the car
Yeah.
repair issues,
I'm getting killed, but that's a big one. Yeah,
can move on and see if he was able to boost his credit score.
absolutely.
Wow, there you go. See that we bring results to this podcast. And this is good conversation for one of those gadflies out there who wants something to discuss at the next cocktail party they go to. John Fakler, we're going to go to you with story number 3. This piece is coming out of the South Florida Business Journal. I'm going to read you the headline for a couple graphs, and I want you to comment, Mr. Fakler. Cryptocurrency companies love Miami. How many actually stayed? Subhead: a few years ago, the industry couldn't get enough of the city, and Mayor Francis Suarez, mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, was pushing for firms to come here. And the South Florida Business Journal actually does an update as to all the companies that were announced that came. How many are actually still around and how many followed through on what they said they were going to do? So that's kind of the context. Let me read the first couple graphs from Mr. Fakler, then I want you to comment. 2023 has been a volatile year for cryptocurrency market, but only a few years ago, crypto fever took over Miami. The value of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin jumped to record highs at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. It fears that economic instability drove people to invest in the emerging asset. Several blockchain and cryptocurrency ventures either launched or expanded Miami during that period, encouraged by Miami Mayor Francis Suarez's support of the industry. Collapsed exchange FTX even had its name put in the Miami Heat's downtown arena. Cryptocurrencies are virtual currencies that do not exist in a physical format. The most well-known example, Bitcoin, was created in 2009 and uses peer-to-peer technology to facilitate instant payments. Its popularity inspired the creation of thousands of other digital currencies. Mr. Fakler, before you comment, let me just lay out for the audience. We're currently recording this the last week of October. Sam Bankman-Fried, the gentleman who was the founder of FTX, he had a company based in the Bahamas. He was ultimately indicted. He was extradited. He's now on trial for a variety of different issues. He's had many people around him, including an ex-girlfriend, some former friends who've all come out and testified against him. So that's the backdrop, Mr. Fakler. Why don't you tell us how many crypto companies that were announced are actually still around? And what did we learn from this whole crypto and Bitcoin bull experience that we went through in the last few years?
Yeah, well, I found it very interesting because the story did drill down on which companies had promised, a boom in real estate and moving into the area, moving into Miami, and in fact, sort of disappeared. Another main thing to mention is that Mayor Suarez was, he looks like he got hustled by the crypto bros. I know.
Please expand on that.
Well, I know that he, went out a very big public relations campaign to announce that we're going to have this new industry where the crypto companies and the blockchain companies were going to come. And it was a big deal. Now, it's kind of interesting because it was a newsy story, although there was no real follow-up until now. And that was a while ago. I remember back in the day when I covered public companies, my boss used to get after me to, let's try to find a new, industry that we have out there outside of hospitality, medical and healthcare and real estate. I mean, other than that. And I remember biofarm was something that looks like it was going to be a sort of a sub-genre. I don't know if it really took off. We do have biofarm companies here, but long story short, I mean, I actually one time interviewed a CEO of a public company and asked him, why'd you move down here? Well, I was all excited. I thought maybe we were going to have a new industry. And he said to me, he looked at me and he goes, good golfing. Like, what the hell is that? So, it's not an area. It's big news when a new industry moves into this area that's outside of the typical industries that South Florida is known for. So, that's why this was big. But I love the fact that they drilled down. Most of these companies were either acquired or they went to remote or hybrid model. So all these hundreds of people that were moving to this area, dwindled to almost nothing. Some of these companies apparently said they were going to set up in Miami, at least a larger office in Miami, and they've now vanished. So it's a little mud on the face of Miami.
Interesting. Mr. Gruss or Mr. Ostrowski, anybody want to comment about the crypto bros? What was promised versus sort of what we actually realized based on the reporting by the South Florida Business Journal?
Well, I think one thing that jumps out is that, Fakler mentioned two things, which is biotech and the Florida's $1 billion bet on the biotech industry under Jeb Bush.
And then the idea that a lot of these companies are remote, distributed, hybrid, however you want to describe it. So, back 20 years ago when Jeb was throwing all that money at Scripps and Max Planck and everyone else, the idea was, we're going to have a Pfizer plant or a Merck plant here in no time, thousands of jobs, and something very, very physical, very tangible located here. And that's not the case with these blockchain companies and the crypto companies, because even with the announcements of a new headquarters moving here, you dig into it and you realize, oh, well, that maybe they're officially located in Miami now instead of San Francisco, but they're not bringing any workers with them because everybody's in Denmark or India or wherever they're located. They're scattered around the world, and it just seems like the tech talent that we were once chasing now isn't really going anywhere. I mean, so clearly a lot of people are moving to Florida, but the idea that you're going to get a tech company to move 1,000 people here it's just not the same calculus as it was 20 years ago.
I remember the Scripps announcement too. That was a big deal at the time. Just the
well,
physicality.
It didn't help that basically the crypto coins crashed last year in value, and basically even Miami had its own coin, the Miami coin, which
yes,
I think the mayor had promised everybody he was gonna, like, well, I can't remember exactly the promise, but we were gonna get a windfall from the Miami coin. Every resident was gonna get something. And it was so preposterous at the time, but obviously that really harmed the industry, and so and of course the scandal, the FTX scandal, and the SEC crackdown on the crypto industry, has really put the brakes on it.
Is it me, or did you guys find it kind of weird? And I don't want to take a shot at the reporter who's ultimately trying to bring light to this. I don't see a would not comment from either the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, because he probably doesn't want to discuss it. I also didn't see anything from the economic development companies or entities who were out there hand in hand with many of these startups or these Bitcoin companies, promising them incentives, financial incentives to go ahead and set up shop. So this is just taking a shot directly at the companies, but I don't see any pushback on some of these government bodies that were beating the drum, sort of creating the momentum. Am I wrong, or?
No, I think that's a good point. There was also no mention of Miami coin in the article, which I thought was the first thing that struck me. So nothing from Suarez and nothing about Miami coin.
Well, I think indirectly it was sort of taking a swipe at the hype, and you really need to beat a dead horse. I mean,
but I think Peter, you're asking a good question, but I think fortunately for us as taxpayers, I just don't think that these crypto companies and the blockchain companies are really set up to cash in on the state incentives. Because to get those incentives, I mean, typically you have to be bringing a certain number of employees, you have to have a certain track record of profitability, and a lot of these companies are so new that they're just not going to pass any of those thresholds for money from Enterprise Florida and the Beacon Council and the Broward Alliance. So yeah, I don't recall seeing any public subsidies going to these companies. I mean, certainly they were getting a lot of cheerleading from the mayor, but I could be wrong, but I don't recall any big checks being written. Thank God. Okay, story number 4. Jean Gruss, we're going to go to you with story number 4. It's coming out of the Miami Herald. I'm going to read you the headline, first couple graphs, and I want you to comment. Let me give the audience some context. Champlain Tower South, which is a condo, it collapsed in Surfside on the Barrier Island, Miami-Dade County. Close to 100 people died. There was $1 billion settlement that went out. It forced the feds, the state, the locals to try to figure out how can a condominium actually collapse. This property is located between Miami Beach and Bell Harbor and Surfside area. It's having all kinds of repercussions all around the state of Florida, in that insurance prices have spiked. In addition to this collapse, we've had some hurricanes, we've had other things. Some would say we have an insurance crisis going on right now in Florida. If you can get insurance, it's costing you a ton. Many people are being forced to go to the insurer of last resort, which is called Citizens Property Insurance. So that is the backdrop, John. Let me read you the headline, first couple graphs, and I want you to comment. And again, this is coming out of the Miami Herald. Headline: Investors and state senators see opportunity to cash in on Florida's insurance crisis. First couple graphs, Sean. When Floridians go to shop around for new homeowners insurance policies next year, they could find several new companies offering coverage, including one company backed by the current state senator. Lured by the nation's high premiums and new laws making it harder to sue insurance companies, investors see an opportunity in Florida's broken insurance market. Current and former state officials and other observers said they are receiving regular inquiries from potential investors looking to make a profit. Story goes on to say, and this is a quote coming from a current state senator, a guy called Jason Pizzo out of Hollywood. The quote is, as soon as we were done with the last vote in session, I had a couple of people, including legislators, asking me if I would invest in a new insurance company. Mr. Pizzo said. He goes on to say that State Senator John Gruder, a Republican out of Sarasota, he pitched his fellow lawmakers on investing in a new homeowners policy insurance company that would project a 165% return on investments over the next 5 years. Investing millions of dollars into one of the nation's most valuable insurance market might seem like a folly. Hurricanes and floods are multiplying. Meanwhile, numerous companies have gone insolvent without being hit by either of those threats. But Florida-based insurance companies employ unusual financial structures that can allow executives to extract considerable profits from homeowners' premiums. Jean, my question to you is this an example of the fox guarding the henhouse?
Well, yes and no. The insurance business in Florida is like highly risky business. There've been so many insolvencies. I just can't imagine investors being gung ho about the industry. Now that being said, if lawmakers have crafted legislation and they know the ins and outs, and there's a bit of a conflict of interest there. It seems a little bit unethical, but at the same time, the insurance business. They're taking a huge amount of risk here in Florida, and one storm can basically wipe out a company, and so I was just having a little bit of trouble wrapping my head around why you would invest in a company like this, and exactly what the benefits are. It wasn't entirely clear from the story, like how they were going to extract all these benefits, all this money. But that we do have an insurance crisis. It's been going on since Hurricane Andrew, and 30 years of insurance crisis. So nothing surprises me anymore with Florida's insurance market.
No. Let me read another graph or two from this piece, and then I want you to comment, and then I'll open to the floor. Pizzo, remember, he's the state senator out of Hollywood. Pizzo, one of the state's wealthiest lawmakers with a net worth of about $60 million, declined to invest in Gruder's company. That was the one company that was referenced early on. Pizzo also turned down nearly a dozen other pitches from investors, he told the Herald Times. And here's a quote from him. I just don't want to be directly involved with profiting off of what I think is less restrictive or more favorable conditions for insurers. What does the roundtable make of that?
Well, I'm thinking, my immediate thought was he didn't invest in it because he didn't see the risk return didn't work out in his favor. And, these promises of, triple digit percentage returns, that's like a red flag right away. Any investment that pitches itself as, having those kinds of returns is suspect to start with. I think Pizzo probably, stayed away because it didn't make sense more than the ethics. That's my personal viewpoint, but I may be wrong, but that's kind of how I read it.
Anybody else on the roundtable want to comment about state senators who crafted legislation to deal with our Florida insurance crisis, suddenly setting up their own companies to go in and sell policies?
Yeah, that would be a clear conflict of interest if it's happening. The elected legislators don't directly approve rates. That's the purview of the state insurance department. But still, it's not a good look to have lawmakers investing in an industry that they regulate. So I would hope that all the other members of the state senate are following Senator Pizzo's lead and not investing in insurance companies that do business in Florida.
Great context, gentlemen. Okay, we're going to go on with story number 5. Jeff, we're going to stick with you. Jeff Ostrowski, we're going to stick with you with this story. This piece appeared in the Commercial Observer. I'm going to read you the headline for a couple graphs, and I want you to comment. Headline: Rising Miami office rents reach another record. And then here we go with the first couple graphs. Bucking the national trend of an office marketing crisis, South Florida office rents keep rising. Asking rental rates in Miami-Dade County soared to $59.46 per square foot in the third quarter, up 16.5% from a year earlier, and setting another record. Commercial real estate firm JLL reported Wynwood and Brickell remain the county's most desirable office submarkets, with annual asking rents topping $90 a square foot. In Palm Beach County, the average direct asking price or asking rent for office space was $53.32 per square foot, up 15.6% from the third quarter of 2022. JLL reported in Broward County, rents rose a more modest 4%. Mr. Ostrowski, I thought that office space was going to be in distress. We've discussed opportunity funds that have been created to target office space. Ultimately, that where it would be going back to the lender, it'd have to be sold at a deep discount. What's exactly going on here in Palm Beach and Dade County, and why hasn't Broward County realized the same sort of bump in terms of increased interest that we saw in Dade and Palm Beach County?
Yeah, those are all good questions. So I mean, partly I think that in South Florida we've just had this huge influx of people, of companies, especially moving into West Palm, into Miami. So I think that's really been holding those office prices up and holding vacancy rates down. Not sure why Broward hasn't benefited to the same extent. But I mean, in addition to some of those blockchain companies moving in that we were just talking about, I mean, we've had a lot of tech companies, a lot of financial companies moving into Miami. And Terry Blanca, who I quoted in this story, commented about how, well, it's you keep hearing about all this distress in the office market everywhere else, but that's just not the case here. I think part of it is just because Florida's had population growth, job growth. And so even though the companies that are here are using less space, there's still enough new demand from these new companies. I also will say, I didn't mention it in this story, but there certainly is a move away from commuting to the office. Like a Ryder, the Fortune 500 company, last year sold its headquarters in suburban Miami, just because they said nobody was coming into the office. So I wouldn't say we're completely immune from these trends. But yeah, it seems like the overall picture in the South Florida office market is much different from other parts of the country.
And Jeff, I wonder in terms of the quality of the office space that was actually desired versus maybe that which was, what made it appealing was it was cheaper. Can you sort of address like trophy quality, Class A versus the other stuff? When you were reporting out the story, did you see anything, or reading the reports, did you notice any trends?
Yeah, I mean, the consensus is that it's the high end stuff, the high end expensive stuff that's really in demand. So, which is sort of the opposite of what you would expect. But it's almost like the employers who are still insisting on having workers come into the office are selling the quality of the space, as saying, maybe you won't come into a Class B space in sort of a non-sexy location in the suburbs, but
yep.
We're gonna give you the top of the top and on Brickell or in downtown, and you're gonna want to come in for that.
Interesting. Anyone else on the roundtable want to comment about this slight bump? I guess we're seeing quality office space in the Tri-County South Florida area versus maybe some of the Chicken Little talk that the whole office market was going to hell.
Well, I'm curious, when I see asking rents, I mean, I always wonder, well, is that what they're getting? And I wonder like what kinds of concessions they're making. I mean, all of this is of course probably non-public information or not available, but I wonder like in terms of tenant improvements or concessions, or are these buildings really getting those per square foot rents that they're asking, or Are they just trying to sort of, put sort of the higher the number, the better kind of thing?
That's an interesting point, John. Wow. Well, interesting. We'll have to watch and see how that plays out. Story number 6, we're going to go to John Fakler. John Fakler, this is a piece that's coming out of local 10.com. It's the ABC affiliate down here in Miami, South Florida area. I'll read you the headline and I'll read you the first couple graphs and I want you to comment. Headline: 4th arrest made in Broward real estate scheme. And subhead BSO, which is Broward Sheriff's Office, says, Anessa Florea, 37, claimed to have legally purchased Dania Beach home for about 40 grand. And here we go. First couple graphs from Mr. Fakler. Then I want you to comment. A 37-year-old woman from Dania Beach, which is a municipality in Broward County. Broward County is located in the middle of Tri-County area. So you got Miami-Dade to the south, you got Broward in the center, and you have Palm Beach County to the north for anybody who doesn't really know the South Florida area well. So let me repeat it. A 37-year-old woman from Dania Beach, which is in Broward County, is the 4th person to be arrested in a connection with a real estate scheme in Broward County, authorities confirm. Anessa Florea was taken into custody Tuesday on charges of grand theft, filing false documents, and burglary of an unoccupied dwelling. Story goes on to say, according to an arrest report, beginning in March of 2020, and this is a quote, a series of events perpetuated by Tyrone Jones, Jeffrey Aronson, and Michael Dupre, and later Yuri Damatov and Anessa Florea, occurred in order to fraudulently acquire a residence. That's the end of the quote. Located in the 4,000 block of Southwest 44th Terrace in Dania Beach, detective from Broward Sheriff's Office said the property, which had been in foreclosure, was owned by U.S. Bank and Trust, but the group filed a fraudulent deed, and Jones and Aronson later, quote, applied for and received money from fraudulently obtaining a mortgage, end quote. Detective said Jones also rented the home to a tenant. According to the Florea's arrest report, the bank discovered that someone was living in the home on April 25th, 2022, after an unauthorized person had filed civil complaints to evicted tenants. So, Mr. Fakler, let me boil it down to for the audience. Basically, somebody filed paperwork saying they own the property. They then went ahead, they obtained financing for it, and they turned around and leased out the property. Mr. Fakler, is this an anomaly? Is this something common? And what should what's the words of wisdom for maybe somebody out there who's listening to this podcast and thinking, boy, this is unique. How do they pull it off? Why don't you tell us, Mr. Fakler? You've been living in South Florida since the 1980s, so you've seen quite a bit.
Well, listen, real estate fraud has been here for as long as I've been here. Very popular type of fraud. One of the takeaways I have here is that I really think regulators need to get off the schneid and maybe do a multi-agency investigation because these fraudsters are really out of control. I mean, if you look deep down in the story, they interviewed the Broward property appraiser after the first arrest. There were 4 arrests, I believe, in this case. And what he said, it was one of the worst cases. It was a horrible type of fraud, but it was smart. He used the word smart. What's happening is the fraudsters are getting more creative. I mean, these guys essentially were glorified squatters. And even when the cops came, they refused to leave, turned around and had the stones to sue the bank after filing a fraudulent deed. Who does this stuff? Only in South Florida. This is very creative, scary, of course. And this guy was a convicted felon. So, maybe there could be some sort of red flag mechanisms that are put in place by the banks. I'm sure they have red flags that they look at, but also the government, but maybe get ahead of this a little bit with more stricter red flag mechanisms that'll show them, hey, there's some crazy ass fraud going on. We got to investigate it. So that might be a suggestion.
Now, I want to ask you a question to Mr. Ostrowski and Mr. Gruss. Mr. Ostrowski, you are still currently writing about banking issues, finance issues. Jean, you used to write about finance and banking. My question to both of you gentlemen is, during the Great Recession, we had something called a rocket docket. We had these situations where all kind of paperwork's being filed. Banks took their eye off the ball. Later on, they came to figure out what was actually going on. Is this an anomaly, or maybe it just sort of reflects the fact that maybe some of the corrections that the lenders made back then to deal with all the fraud that occurred leading up to the Great Recession basically wasn't really dealt with? Or is this simply a South Florida phenomenon? Anybody have any take on that?
Well, we did see this kind of fraud back during the housing crash. So that whole idea that, anybody could just sort of doctor up a deed and file it with the county clerk. I remember talking to the Palm Beach County clerk at the time, and she just sort of shrugged and said, yeah, we've got thousands of documents a day coming in. And if somebody really wants to file a phony deed, they can do it. The difference now is that there are just so few vacant homes. You need a vacant home to really pull this off. And there are just so few foreclosures right now that they're just, there's not as much opportunity. But back, 10 to 12 years ago, there were a couple foreclosures on every block. And so that opened up a lot of opportunity. If you had a vacant house, that made it much easier for me to rent somebody else's house and collect the payments as the sort of the phony owner. But I did note that one of the people accused of this scheme had spent some time as a guest of the government, and it just seems like these guys. It seems like they talk to each other, they trade tips, they trade advice. So I would bet that this guy probably heard about this in prison and is trying it now that he's on the outside.
Interesting. And John Gruss, do you have any take on this? Is this a one-off, or is this maybe a canary in the coal mine as to what's coming down the pike as interest rates go up?
Yeah, I mean, real estate fraud is as much a part of Florida as Jimmy Buffett.
Probably more.
It's just part of the landscape. And basically, you're playing whack-a-mole with these guys. They're popping up, all different places with different schemes. And I always wonder, like, what is the responsibility of the lender in all of this? I mean, the thing is that is there an obligation for lenders to be a little more careful about those kinds of things? And I'm just wondering, how the banking regulators are viewing this. There has to be some responsibility on the part of the lenders. And somebody missed the red flag, certainly a convicted felon. I think, that should have been, there should have been a flag right there, but, yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, to your point about the historical roots of fraud in Florida. So Charles Ponzi, after his postage stamp scheme blew up in Boston, moved to Florida and ran a real estate scheme. So it's been with us for a century and probably longer.
And it keeps reporters in business.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Like welfare for reporters.
It's welfare for reporters. With that, I want to thank members of our podcast. We've gone through all 6 stories. Let me go ahead and thank John Gruss. He was a journalist for over 25 years. Right now, he's a public relations and marketing firm called Gruss Communications. Check out his website, GrussPR.com, GRUSSPR.com. You should also follow him on X, which is formerly Twitter, at John Gruss, JeanGruss. Also want to thank John Fakler. John was a journalist for over 20 years, wrote about white-collar crime, did business stories. He also did restaurant reviews. He is our go-to crime reporter for this podcast. John does public relations and marketing right now. If you want to get a hold of him or you want to follow him on Twitter or X, I could say, get him at JT Fakler, JTFAKLER. And I want to thank Jeff Ostrowski. He's been a journalist for over 30 years. Writes for Bankrate. His work also appears in a variety of other publications. You want to get a hold of Jeff, you can get him on X, which is formerly Twitter, at Bio561, BIO561. And I'm Peter Zalewski of CondoVultures. Do you have any questions for us? Do you have any comments? Reach out to us on X at Miami RRP, at Miami RRP, which stands for Miami Reporters Roundtable Podcast. And don't forget to check out our merch. If anybody wants to have a look at what we're offering, we look at our journalists who cut through all the fluff and give straight talk, much like Marvel looks at its superheroes. So if you want to get a t-shirt with Mr. Fakler, you want a coffee mug with John, and maybe very soon we're going to have some sort of paraphernalia with Mr. Ostrowski. Be sure to check it out. Go to CondoVultures.com, look for the merch figure. And until next time, take care of yourself and we'll catch up soon. Ciao, ciao.
It's a simple formula, and it works. Buy low, sell high. We're Condo Vultures, and when it comes to your real estate, we help you buy low. At Condo Vultures, we represent the buyer, and now's the time to buy. Log on to CondoVultures.com for more information. CondoVultures.com. And remember, before you sell high, you have to buy low. Featured in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, 60 Minutes, and Time Magazine. Condo Vultures Realty, a licensed Florida real estate brokerage capitalizing on the condo correction since 2006.
This is Peter Zalewski of the Condo Vultures podcast. Before I started doing these podcasts, I was in the business of being a licensed real estate broker. a contributing columnist for the Miami Herald as well as the Miami Real Deal, but also extra witness work in consulting. So if you are looking for an expert witness, or if you're looking for consulting services, a straight talk perspective as to what's going on in a particular marketplace, a building, or what happened previously, for whatever your situation is, whether you are an attorney, whether you are an institutional fund looking to invest, or whether you're a lender who's trying to come up with some sort of strategy and approach for your lending committee going forward, I just might be able to help you. To get a hold of me, please reach out to Peter@CondoVultures.com. That's Peter@CondoVultures.com. Or give me a call to the office at 305-865-5859, 305-865-5859.